Well, when I got back to Cape Town, I was looking for somewhere else to live. I had been staying in a small flat, and by now I had made quite a bit of money, so I rented a really nice bungalow right on the beach at Sea Point. It's one of their nicest areas. And I used to go on the beach every day and join in playing volleyball with some people on the beach. Had quite a bit of publicity in the newspapers. So as we were playing, I saw there was a youngish man, rather stout, a puffy face, quite pale compared to everyone else who was tanned, just watching us. And I noticed him a few days running. So one day I just beckoned him over to say, would you like to join in? And he seemed a bit shy, but in the end he did. And after the game, he looked at me and said, aren't you David Berglas? I'm Vladimir Treshchikov. Now, a few days before that, we had a joint write-up in the paper, which was called Two Young Men. This was a famous painter called Vladimir Treshchikov, who was giving an exhibition, and the same number of people that had come to see my shows had come to see his exhibition. So we started talking, and he had a very, very interesting background of escaping from Russia and through China and so on. But he also painted a painting that became world famous called The Green Lady. It's a picture of a Chinese girl, which people used to say that was his wife. In actual fact, he was married to a Chinese lady, but the picture was of a local girl that I got to know who worked in the local laundrette, little knowing that her picture would be all over the world. At one time, during the 50s and 60s, you could see that picture everywhere. It was considered kitsch and wasn't rated by the art world, but the public loved it. So even on a program like EastEnders or one of those soaps, you would see that picture in the background. Now, I have that picture because it means so much to me. I think people would be surprised that in my home I have that picture, but it's a very attractive and very unusual picture. Well, by now it was coming to the end of my time in South Africa, and I was requested to do a farewell tour. I hadn't done any demonstrations since the beginning, so I booked a number of shows in the suburbs all around Cape Town, and they were all sold out. I gave my lecture demonstrations, and then I left and I went back on a ship called the Pretoria Castle. Now, I had no intention of attending any shows or performing, but one night they had a passenger show and they asked me whether I would like to compare it and introduce it. And as I did, I thought I would do one trick. And the trick was quite a simple trick. The routine was that somebody would think of a tune, and then I would either play it on the piano myself, or I would apparently transmit it to the pianist and they would play it. And my patter was such that when I asked them to concentrate and mentally think of the tune, I would pretend not to get it, and after a while say, look, you're putting in a lot of twiddle bits. Could you possibly just stick to the main theme? We'll start again. And then I said, oh, that's better now. And then either I would play it or get the pianist to play a few notes until everybody recognized it. It was a very simple trick. Now, the next day, I was walking along the deck, and the captain and two people came towards me, and I was just going to say good afternoon to the captain when he introduced me to the couple that he was walking with. It was only Sir Winston Churchill and Lady Churchill, and unbeknown to me and unbeknown to the passengers, they had got on at Madeira. Madeira is the only stop between Cape Town and Southampton. He used to go there to live and paint in a Reed Hotel, which now has a suite called the Winston Churchill Suite. And the captain said, "Oh, this is the young man that entertained last night." Apparently they'd watched the cabaret. And Mrs. Churchill said to me, "Oh, that was very entertaining. Isn't it a nuisance when these people put on this twiddly bits?" Well, I was too polite to correct her and say it was only a trick. When I came back to London, I thought my father would be very proud of me. I had all these newspaper cuttings, letters from doctors and so on, and I showed them, and he said, "No, that's all right," but it wasn't in textiles, was it? That wasn't hypnosis. But I thought he wasn't very proud of me, but then I heard that whilst I was away, one of his customers came to his office and he had a poster hanging there of me, and he said, "That's my son." So he was proud of me, but he never told me about it.